Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
A little drizzle around with a cold front coming through as we cool down and dry out on this hump day.
And the controversy that follows Donald Trump wherever he goes is about to arrive in Flint. And neighbors on edge in western Wayne County after 2 incidents of thieves either entering or trying to enter homes. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Imagine this, seeing 2 men armed with guns trying to break into your house and your home at the time. That's just one of the incidents that police in Northville Township are investigating, both happening just off a stretch of Beck Road between 7 and 8 Mile roads. Lauren Podell has been speaking with people affected by this, and I've got to imagine they're terrified.
Rhonda, we caught up with both families who were affected by these would-be home invaders, and both of them still shaken to their core. All of this still fresh in their minds. These attempted robberies and robberies happening yesterday morning between 11 in the morning and 11:45. Northville Township Police putting out the alert now to not only warn the people in Northville Township, but also other communities in southeast Michigan, because these would-be robbers, they are bold. Take a look. You are looking at video right now of the area of Beck Road and 8 Mile. That's where one of these victims lives. She said it was 11 a.m. She just finished cutting her grass, was about to go inside to take a shower when she heard her doorbell ring. That's when she peered outside of her window, saw a suspicious car in her driveway, and knew something wasn't quite right. She went into her closet to hide, felt like she was there for hours. She was on the phone with 911 and knew something wasn't right. Take a listen.
I was actually looking from my bedroom window down at them, and I saw him go back and forth several times to our house, there for a little bit, like looking in, I believe, and then back to his car, and then I saw the other guy get out when they figured no one was home.
Individuals take advantage of breaking into homes during the daytime, knowing that residents are at work and away out running errands, and that's what occurred yesterday.
Now, Chief Todd Muchler said thankfully something spooked those would-be robbers from Kim's home, but they went to a home not far away, less than a mile away, Rhonda, and did make their way inside of a home and stole priceless valuables. Now, you're going to hear from that family on later editions of Local 4 News, but I do want to put out a description. Northville Township Police putting out a press release, putting out a description of the people that they want you to be on the lookout for, these alleged suspects. They were spotted in a newer light-colored 4-door sedan. That's the car that Kim saw in her driveway. Both of the suspects, African-American males. The first person who rang Kim's doorbell appeared to be clean-cut, lighter-skinned, 5'10", with a medium build. The second suspect, also described with a medium build with braided hair, and he was the one that had a silver handgun in his hand. Kim said when she saw that gun, she knew she had to hide. She was afraid for her life. And you're really going to hear in depth from both of these families who are affected. And they want to get this information out as badly as Northville Township Police. There is a reward in this case, and Northville Township Police want everyone to call 1-800-SPEAK-UP if you have any information about these alleged suspects. Reporting live from Northville Township, Lauren Podell. Rhonda, back to you.
Very scary, Lauren. Thank you. Donald Trump is expected to land in Flint in about an hour and a half for a visit that's already generated some controversy. Rod Maloney joins us now live in Flint this afternoon. And Rod, it sounds like the mayor isn't even going to be there.
No, well, the mayor, Karen Weaver, is not going to want to be around to be with Donald Trump. She's made that abundantly clear. We're out here at the Flint airport right now. You can see behind me here that the motorcade is getting ready. They've got the press pool van there. The state police are just on the other side of that. All the motorcycles that they have, a couple of dozen of them for the motorcade here. Donald Trump arrives here at 1:30. He'll be coming here from the Dr. Oz show, where he's supposed to make some headlines out of that because he was supposed to release his medical records, or at least talk about his medical condition on the Dr. Oz show today. So he's coming here directly from that taping, and then he's going to come here at 1:30. That's what they said, wheels down at 1:30. He comes here to the FedEx terminal up here at the Flint Airport. And then he jumps in, does his motorcade down to the Flint Water Department. And that's going to be the first stop. Now, we have confirmed that there is, in fact, going to be a tour there. The mayor did say that they would accommodate the campaign because they did want to get a tour of the plant. And from there, he is then going to go back into his motorcade and then over to the they'll make that the Bethel United Methodist Church on the other side of town, where we're told that there's going to be some sort of rally in there. But interestingly enough, we are not allowed inside. There's going to be a pool camera that's going to take the video of that. We'll have that for you a little bit later on. And so it has been a catch-as-catch-can morning here, just trying to figure out precisely what was going to happen and where to be and how to be able to cover this for you. And so we've nailed that all down. And our expectation is that we're going to get the reaction to all of this when he does the tour and then thereafter over at the church. So it's going to be a busy afternoon here. We'll have full details coming up on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. Reporting live from Flint, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Okay, Rod, thank you. Also, in addition to Donald Trump, he's not the only campaign candidate that's going to be in Michigan. Gary Johnson hopes to make his mark here in Detroit today. Johnson is the Libertarian Party nominee, and he's going to be speaking to the Detroit Economic Club this afternoon. His speech comes on the heels of increased radio ads by Johnson in Grand Rapids this week, as the third-party candidate hopes to make a splash among undecided voters. Hillary Clinton also plans to get back on the campaign trail as well tomorrow. And Flint residents gathered today to testify that they still don't have access to clean water. Residents detailed a lack of transportation and finances as some of the main reasons that clean water is still difficult to come by. A suit is now filed against the state treasurer and the city of Flint, who activists say violated the Safe Drinking Water Act. Their case is being heard today in federal court. A 23-year-old woman from Farmington Hills is still missing more than a week after she was last seen. Elizabeth Joy Hawk is her name, and she was last seen on September 6th. Her car, a 1999 gold Ford Crown Victoria, was found a week after her disappearance in the PetSmart parking lot in Commerce Township. Hawk, pictured here, is 5'9" and was last seen wearing a white tank top and pink shorts. Anyone that thinks that they may have seen her over the last several days or can have any information to help police, you should contact Farmington Hills Police right away. Well, today, more former Detroit principals accused of taking kickbacks from vendor Norman Shy will appear in court to be sentenced. And there are two of these principals, James Hearn, who is the principal of Marcus Garvey Academy, and Wiley Pearsall, who is the former principal of Thurgood Marshall Elementary School. Hearn and Pearsall are two of the 13 former principals and administrators currently caught in the DPS bribery scandal. Switch gears here and talk to Brandon. We had a rainy start to the morning. Are we going to dry out and see some sunshine?
A little bit of sun, not a ton of it, thanks in large part to some cooler breezes coming off of Lake Huron, northeast winds, maybe even producing a little drizzle throughout the afternoon in the thumb. You can see middle 60s up in Sandusky and Port Huron. We've got upper 60s in other spots, but struggling anywhere to see a 70. As a fan of the cooler weather, I don't mind getting over the hump into some of this cooler air here, and that's what we have. Look at these numbers. We are anywhere between 6 and about 11 degrees cooler at noon today than we were just yesterday. So a cold front came through and brought the morning drips. Still have a chance for a few through the afternoon, but I think most areas going to be in the upper 60s to low 70s, and that is about it. Most of the rain ending, and you can even see back across this line to the north some thinning of the clouds. So hopefully, Rhonda, yeah, we'll get into a little bit of sunshine. We'll reel in more and more of that coming up in the 7-day.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you in a few, Brandon. In the meantime, we have some breaking news into our newsroom. A plea has been reached for an ex-Michigan Department of Health and Human Services employee in the Flint water investigation. Corrine Miller entered into a plea agreement with state prosecutors for her role in this crisis. Miller served as the former director of epidemiology at the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. She is one of 9 who are facing charges brought on by State Attorney General Bill Schuette. Miller pleaded to a misdemeanor charge, which carries a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and $1,000 fine. Still ahead here at noon, the Midwestern school where the makeup of the 5th grade has some people asking, what's in the water? And also coming up next, A police officer badly injured as an out-of-control truck comes barreling at them outside of a party store.
Hey guys, I'm not sure it gets any more high-tech than this. We're talking about a local hospital that is rolling out the red carpet for new germ-fighting robots. Yeah, actual robots who are supposedly programmed to do the yeoman's duty of getting these places squeaky clean, and only we can give you your first look at these robots today at 4 on First at 4.
If you're in a
Welcome back. A frightening scene in Phoenix, Arizona yesterday as these 3 police officers were standing outside of a gas station when they were hit by a car. The officer thrown in the air by the truck was on his first day of the job and suffered a head injury. Another officer suffered a broken leg, while the third managed to run down that suspect and arrest him. Now the driver is being charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and aggravated assault. Meanwhile, in the world of sports, several U.S. Olympic athletes had their medical records, their private medical records, stolen by hackers. The World Anti-Doping Agency reported the theft, saying that the records stolen included American gymnast Simone Biles and tennis star Serena Williams and her sister Venus. USA Gymnastics confirmed that Biles' records were stolen, but says that Biles did not break any rules. The IOC also cleared all the affected athletes of any wrongdoing. Some tough times for Oprah Winfrey as her investment in Weight Watchers is really costing her a fortune. The Weight Watchers spokesperson and investor has lost more than $115 million already as a result of the company's falling stock. Winfrey owns a 10% stake in the company, whose stock is down more than 60% from last year. The latest drop in Weight Watchers stock comes immediately after the company replaced its CEO. Still ahead, what are the odds of this? Wait until you hear how many sets of twins are in the 5th grade class of a Wisconsin school. Brandon?
Look forward to that. How about some cooler air? Things are looking up as far as sky conditions will be clearing out, but as we clear out and cool off tonight, some of our suburbs flirting with the 40s. We'll take a look at that 7-day forecast, including a weekend rain chance coming up.
Tubbies.
Some students are seeing double this school year, 4 times over. There are, get this, 4 sets of twins in a class of just 80 5th graders at a Wisconsin middle school.
I just think it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
especially for Bloomer because it's so small.
right.
What's interesting is having 4 sets of twins all in the 5th grade. Identical twins Jake and Jonah Bleskacek, fraternal twins Ethan and Isaac Siebel, and Ephraim and Ian Prince, and twin brother and sister Dylan and Dalton Michaels.
I think that twins, not always, but tend to have a connection that maybe other siblings don't quite have.
And their mothers know being the parents of twins is a bit different.
My twins, I don't know about any. When they were younger, I swear they had their own language, like communicating to each other, and they'd make weird noises and stuff, and then they'd go do the same thing. It'd be really weird.
There can be competition between the twins, especially when one says he's better at
football, baseball, and basketball.
That you do better than him?
Oh. Yeah, right.
Or even collecting bracelets.
When we first got our couple bracelets and then we just started collecting them.
Even those who were born just 1 minute apart.
He always says when we play basketball, he says he gets the ball first because he's younger than me.
While these 8 5th graders prepare to answer many questions in their classes, there's one big one which some might ask the moms of these twins.
What's in the water?
Yeah, what's in the water?
So there's a study from the National Center for Health Statistics that puts the rate of having twins at close to about 3% for all successful births. So it is quite rare. Do you have any twins in your family?
No, but I know a lot of people that do, and
Yeah.
it seems like more and more is happening.
Well, yes, with alternate ways to get pregnant, sometimes it greatens the chances.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was something in the milk or the water.
Let's just stick with that. It's a
All
lot
right.
easier. All right, let's talk about the water because it was raining this morning.
Yes, it was. A little drippy, not terrible, but a cold front came through. And now, look, Rhonda, we're seeing a little bit of blue sky out there. Still quite a bit of cloud cover. Most of the wet weather will be confined to our north zone in the Thumb region. And obviously, the more and more sun we get, the warmer temperatures will get. But only 67 degrees right now. That north wind at 10 miles an hour. So it's upper 60s to low 70s for the rest of the day. That cooler breeze out of the north-northeast will drive some lake-enhanced clouds through the afternoon, keeping most, again, of the drizzle to our north zone. North of M59, not a lot, but just a pesky little spit and drizzle possible. As skies clear through the late afternoon and evening hours overnight, we're going to dip down to a very comfortable 54. It's windows open. It's a great evening tonight, mainly in the 60s for a little walk. And some suburbs, you know who you are, out in Washtenaw County, Livingston County, up near Lapeer and Port Huron will be into those 40s tonight. I mean, no frost or freeze issues or worries, but it's noticeably cooler. We can see the brighter whites across, I guess, 696 and south. That is thicker cloud cover. This darker gray is a lighter cloud cover over us, and that is what's sliding in here behind the cold front that is now passed south of us, and hopefully it'll steer this little mama here. This is Tropical Storm Julia. Tons of rain down in the Carolinas. Also the concern for some severe weather with this tropical storm, which is over land right now, Georgia and Florida, but it's hammering the Carolinas with some heavy rain. So hopefully our front will steer that thing away. The hill countries of the Carolinas can get flooded very dangerously and quickly. But for us on the computer model, it does pick up a little bit of drizzle activity up in the thumb region today. But as we head through tomorrow, very nice stuff. It's going to be cool in the morning, as we said, but nice middle 70s tomorrow. Just a classic day here, end of summer, early fall. A little bit warmer on Friday, but as we get late Friday into Saturday, we've got a rain and thunder shower chance. And this is big because not only is it just the weekend, but we've got Michigan game. We've got a lot of your outdoor plans at stake. But very nice for Thursday and Friday to end the work and school week. Saturday, the rain should be wrapping up by noon, 1 o'clock with a few straggler showers into the early afternoon, which means tailgating for the 3:30 Michigan game at the Big House could be a little bit wet. We'll let you know as we get closer and closer to that, but I think the game will dry out through the afternoon around Metro Detroit, and Sunday looks just picture perfect, Rhonda.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Brandon. The latest version of Apple's operating system was finally released yesterday, but despite all of the hype, many users are now experiencing problems. iOS 10 was supposed to be a huge upgrade for Apple users, but instead, consumers around the world are complaining that the new update is crashing their phones. Apple says that they are working on fixing the issue. That's why I never rush to do those upgrades. All right, still ahead. She may not be the most famous guest to appear on The Ellen Show, but she's a pretty big deal around here.
Oh, this is a great story. A local woman from Highland Park is making a big difference and getting national attention for
Yes, she is. By one of the best people you can get attention from. Ellen DeGeneres decided that she was going to fly Highland Park's Shu Harris out to Los Angeles on Tuesday. She is sharing all of the good things that she is doing on her Highland Park street. Harris's nonprofit is buying up lots and turning them into uses for her community. A homework house for the kids, activity courts, basketball courts to keep the kids educated, also entertained and out of trouble, as well as a greenhouse and a cafe so that the residents can eat healthy and lead healthy lives.
And the centerpiece is Jacoby Park, named after her son, who was killed in 2007 by a hit-and-run driver, just 2 years old.
He's an ambassador definitely in the heavens, and he's a child that I still raise. Even though he's not here physically, I hear him.
And you can see her at 3 o'clock today on Ellen. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Have a great day.